On today's adventure, we're going in search of one of America's most famous outlaws. The Civil War started in Kansas more than a decade before the rest of the nation. Unofficial armies of Southern bushwhackers and Union jayhawkers terrorized the populations on both sides of the political divide. There were bloody clashes with many combatants coming from Missouri to influence the new state's position on slavery. Missouri itself was deeply divided, officially a free state, but with many residents in full support of slavery, among them the James family. On April 3rd of 1863, a group of jayhawkers showed up at the James farm in Kearney, Missouri. They were looking for a bushwhacker named Frank that had ridden with the notorious Quantrill's raiders. They found Dr. Reuben Samuel instead. Samuel's stepson Jesse was 15 and working in the fields that day. He probably watched the soldiers torturing Dr. Samuel for information, then hanging him nearly to death. When the soldiers were done with Dr. Samuel, they found Jesse near where the recreated slave quarters stand today. The lashing he received at their hands, according to legend, was the impetus for Jesse to join his brother first as a Confederate soldier and then as one of the most infamous outlaws in the history of the United States.
Do you like weird stuff? Shop Saturday Adventures. Check out SaturdayAdventure.etsy.com. Come see our assortment of t-shirts, pennants, posters, puzzles, mugs, and more.
Atrocities were committed on both sides during the bitter fighting around Kansas, but William Quantrill was especially brutal. His guerrilla fighters ransacked and burned towns around Kansas and Missouri during 1861 and 1862. With the raiders, the James brothers participated in multiple massacres before Quantrill was mortally wounded and captured, and his army of scoundrels fell apart. Jesse wasn't very good at being a soldier. Within a year, he'd suffered 2 nearly fatal gunshot wounds to the chest. The second occurred while he was attempting to surrender to Union troops on his way back to the family farm. The war ended, but Frank and Jesse kept fighting. Jesse James had a criminal career that spanned almost 2 decades. Though Jesse promoted himself as a Robin Hood figure, there was no evidence that anyone ever benefited from Jesse's crimes except Jesse James and the criminals that stole with him.